As a senior member of the government, I'm very interested in your thoughts on these comments by the new ambassador from China. I'll read them to you, published in the Global Times, the Communist Party mouthpiece, which says it all, I think, really. It's an olive branch, a very clear olive branch. It says, a sound China-Australia relationship serves the fundamental interests of the two countries and two peoples. China and Australia differ in their history, culture, social systems, stages of development, but as long as we adopt a long-term and big-picture perspective and adhere to the principle of mutual respect, that the China-Australia relationship will keep moving forward and make further progress. Huge contrast with his predecessor. Do you welcome that?
It's very pleasing, Kieran. All new ambassadors, of course, bring a nuance and a different approach whilst they represent their home country's interests. It's wonderful to see the new Chinese ambassador coming forward with a very open approach, and I think they'll find the Australian government's response equally open to ensure dialogue continues strongly. We've got a strong relationship with our wonderful Chinese Australians. Remember, the Chinatown in Melbourne, I think, was the very first Chinatown anywhere in the world. Over 1 million Chinese Australians, and Mandarin the second most spoken language in Australia. So deep ties with China, especially on our people-to-people links. So it's very pleasing to see the new ambassador coming forward, and I know I and other ministers are looking forward to a very constructive relationship as we move forward.
And would you like to see the removal of some of those trade measures that have been imposed? Would that be a bit of substance to the words of goodwill?
We expect everyone to abide by their World Trade Organisation commitments, and those WTO commitments are important, whereby there needs to be due cause and substantial cause if indeed there are barriers, be it tariff or non-tariff barriers imposed. So we expect everyone to comply with that. The ambassador has come forward with a great tone in terms of our relationship, and we think there is great opportunity now as we move forward.
Now, the government is struggling, I think, by most people's measure at the moment, certainly the polls suggesting that. How should the Prime Minister reset at the National Press Club when he addresses the media, but addresses the nation, really, a major set-piece speech coming up on Tuesday of next week?
You'll hear the Prime Minister speak about results of what we've achieved. Unemployment at 4.2%, at the lowest level since 2008. More Australians in work now than pre-COVID. One of only one or two nations on earth that can do that. One of the highest rates of vaccination in the world. Highest or fastest rate of child vaccination. The booster program rolling out. If we'd followed the trends of other countries overseas, we would have had up to 45,000 of our citizens no longer with us, as in deceased. So Australia has done so exceptionally well during the pandemic. Has there been some missteps? Well, of course. There's no rule book for 1 in 100 year pandemic, but just the strength of where we've come, how the government's navigated the country, the results we've got in employment, in jobs, in economic activity as our economic growth continues. They're the key messages I think you'll see the Prime Minister come out strongly, just to remind Australians how well as a nation we've done.